Igraspers. The digital world is here to stay, and if we want to create a safe online environment, we need to do it together. The first step towards this is to understand how you can use technology to educate yourself and help those around you while securing your own digital rights. It's now time to begin with the news capsule.
Following the assembly elections in Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Tripura, 3 new chief ministers of the country were sworn in earlier this week. The Meghalaya government will now be headed by Conrad Sangma. Naifue Rio will be serving as the CM for Nagaland, and Manik Saha will be continuing a second term as the CM for the government of Tripura. Prime Minister Modi attended the swearing-in ceremonies of these states earlier this week, and we wish the new state cabinets all the best for this new term.
After more than a decade of negotiations, the countries of the United Nations have finally agreed upon the first ever treaty to protect the world's oceans that lie outside national boundaries. Did you know that only about 1% of international waters are currently protected? This means that the marine life in the majority of these waters continuously face the risk of many threats, including climate change and overfishing. But the High Seas Treaty intends to place 30% of these oceans into protected zones by 2030 by placing restrictions on fishing activities and deep sea diving. What a great step towards protecting our marine life and water bodies.
You all might have heard about India's most prolific open water long distance swimmer, Prabhat Kohli. But did you know that he has recently emerged as the youngest athlete in the world to accomplish the rare feat of completing the Ocean's 7 Challenge? The challenge involves swimming across 7 of the world's most ionic channels, which is fully completed after swimming across a 28-kilometer stretch in New Zealand last week. Prabhat Kohli is already a recipient of the country's highest adventure award known as the Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award, and we cannot wait to see what other accomplishments lie in his future now.
Last week, the much-awaited inaugural edition of the Women's Premier League kicked off to a start with a grand opening ceremony and its first set of games. In this edition, 5 teams will be squaring off to become the champions of the WPL Trophy 2023. These teams are the Royal Challengers Bangalore, Mumbai Indians, UP Warriors, Delhi Capitals and Gujarat Giants. The preliminary matchups will continue till the 21st of March and the exciting finals will take place on the 26th. So, which team are you going to be supporting this season?
A trip to Italy is almost incomplete without traveling through the water canals in Venice. But tourists this season might be in for a surprise. Unusually low tides and drought conditions in Italy have resulted in canals of Venice drying up. A series of images shows some smaller canals with no water, forcing a temporary closing of the city's famous gondola rides. Did you know that in 2019, the waters of the floating city rose to their highest in over 50 years, and in just 4 years, global warming and the prolonged dry spell has created the opposite problem and has resulted in a drought. We hope that the tides shift and that Italy has a great monsoon this year.
Did you know that Lake Victoria in Uganda is the world's second largest freshwater lake? However, it is currently facing problems of runoff waste, sand mining, and a decline in water levels due to climate change. And a farmer tour guide decided to take matters into his own hands in 2017 by building a restaurant boat through an innovative recycling process that used thousands of plastic bottles and waste. Due to this process, the boat is enchanted by leafy ambience and covered in beautiful plants, and now serves as an example of eco-friendly and a sustainable business that can be run right from the water. Don't forget to check out the magical photos.
Japan has recently announced that they are putting $2.35 billion into a project that will turn coal into clean hydrogen. This project will be leveraging technology that captures the carbon emissions from the process of turning coal into synthetic gas, from which they will extract the hydrogen. The Japanese government's Green Innovation Fund will also be investing in the project, and it is estimated that they will produce their first hydrogen before the end of the decade. Isn't that exciting news, Igraspers?
If you've ever been to Maharashtra, chances are that you must have tried the famous delicacy known as vada pav. And now its popularity has been recognized around the world. A travel guide known as Taste Atlas recently released a list of the top 50 best sandwiches in the world, and vada pav earned the 13th spot in this delicious ranking. A variety of doner kebabs popular in Turkey took the first spot in this list, followed by a Peruvian sandwich called patifara in second place. If you haven't already tasted a vada pav, I think it's time you add it to your list of must-haves.
After nearly 50 years of supporting the Matterhorn mountain peak on its packaging, Toblerone will now have to look for another design as it shifts some of its production from Switzerland to Slovakia. This is because in 2017, the Swiss government stated that the national symbols are not allowed to be used to promote milk-based products that are not made exclusively in the country. The company has said that the new packaging will include a distinctive and new typeface logo that draw further inspiration from the Toblerone archives, and we can't wait to see what they have in store for us.
The word of the week is helter skelter, which means in a disorderly or haphazard manner. The students were so happy to know that their exams were cancelled, they started running helter-skelter. The riddle of the week is Mr. Blue lives in the blue house, Mr. Yellow lives in the yellow house, and Mr. Black lives in the black house. Who lives in the White House? President of the United States of America.
Can you guess who? Known as Bollywood's Mr. Perfectionist, he is known to lose and gain oodles of weight for nearly every role. He dislikes attending award ceremonies, believing that his films should stay in the heart of the audiences rather than win awards. He has delivered some of the biggest hits of the modern era, including Lagaan, Dil Chahta Hai and Three Idiots, just to name a few. This is very easy. It's one of the biggest stars of Bollywood, Mr. Aamir Khan. Did you know that Aamir Khan is a nephew of the legendary Indian film producer and director Nasir Hussain, who gave him his debut in Yadon Ki Baarat?
Did you know that the Voynich manuscript, which is a handwritten manuscript in an unknown language, has been carbon dated and found to belong from 1404 to 1838? While some of its pages are actually missing, some are pull-out pages with illustrations. Many cryptographers and master code breakers have tried to decipher it for many years, but none have succeeded.
Quiz time! Which written artifact is commonly found from the Middle Ages? Send your answers to contact us at igraasp.com along with your full name, school name and a photograph. Answer to the last week's quiz. Greece and Australia are the two countries that have participated in all Olympic Games.
भावी युवाओं के लिए भारत के प्रमुख समाचार कैप्सूल आईग्रास्प द्वारा आयोजित साप्ताहिक क्विज में सफलतापूर्वक भाग लेने पर मलवानी टाउनशिप इंग्लिश सेकेंडरी स्कूल की खुशी अशोक मौर्य का हार्दिक अभिनंदन. Dear iGraspers, this week let's follow the story of a man who leaves his wife and child in an impoverished town in order to find opportunity in an unknown country on the other side of the world. He runs into elaborate customs, strange animals, complicated languages, and even floating objects. Time is running out as he must find a way to support himself and live the life he dreamed of. He meets kind strangers along the way who all carry their own struggles and baggage, giving him hope and strength. Find out what happens to our beloved protagonist in this foreign land and give us your feedback at igraasp.com/iClub.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's news capsule. Technology can be wonderful, but only when used with responsibility, safety, and moderation. Be mindful of the content you consume. Steer clear of cyberbullying and make informed decisions about the information that you volunteer online. Be a responsible digital citizen. Thank you all for watching. See you again next week. Bye bye.